So we're with the coach. I love talking with coaches, man, because you're kind of like the cook in the kitchen. You come up with a lot of this stuff.
I like that analogy.
So you've been with Danny for a while. How does this?
I've been with him from the very beginning.
So yeah, I mean, but yeah, you've been from the start. How does it mean being with someone from that long to really be at a pay-per-view level fight? Like, explain that to me.
Well, it's the level that you strive to be at, and we're finally here, and now we have to optimize the moment and become successful with the win, and that's what we plan to do. This is the upper epsilon level, and we are going to take full advantage of the moment.
How do you both rise to the moment, but don't neglect the moment as well? Like, you appreciate all the steps, like, wow, this is cool, but you also you're not too happy to be here, for lack of a better word.
Well, you relish the moment, but you also respect the moment. We know we have to work incredibly hard to be prepared for the fight, and that's what we're doing. But you also laud the moment because we worked so hard to actually get here. So we're going to take it to that point and to that level.
Okay. And stylistically, I'm sure everyone goes stylistically, what do you see? But is there anything that Golovkin hasn't had to face yet in the professional game?
Yes, he hasn't had to face someone who is going to fire back with speed and power and continue to do it. A lot of his fights, he comes in as the intimidator. They seem to be afraid. They want to back up. They don't want to face him. We're going to be working in our ephemeral circle, and that's as far as I can tell you about what we're going to do. And we're going to make it work for us, utilizing his natural capabilities, and that's what's going to render us victorious.
Well, I've been really high on Danny going into this fight, and I'm not just saying that because because I think a lot of guys go in with Golovkin and they're scared of him before they get in there. They're nervous and they wonder, is the punch going to be as loud? And watching Danny today, I don't see that. I see a guy that wants to fight another guy. Do you think that that's that a lot of these Golovkin opponents have gone in beaten before they fought?
That's a great assessment. Danny has nothing to fear. Of all the opponents that Golovkin ever faced, no one has had to face the obstacles that Danny has in his lifetime. This young man fought cancer, defeated it, and was on the verge of losing his life before that. If that alone doesn't make you omniconfident and believing in your capability of succeeding, nothing else will. Danny fears nothing and no one and no man.
I was getting at that with people. Like, I actually asked that to Danny because I was telling people are so quick to make a judgment one way, and I go, you can't count a man out that's beat cancer. Because cancer is a hell of a terrible thing, and no man alive is going to scare you more than cancer. So when you get in that ring, you've already fought a bigger, badder, tougher dude than any man that you fight in the boxing ring, and I think that matters.
It matters. It's the most important factor. Honestly, he was always a fantastic athlete, but he had to fight the fight of his life. And when I tell you that, I'm not just saying that, oh, we're using it as an expression. He had to fight for his very life. And he did. And he's still here. And he became a champion. And now he's facing the boogeyman. So what do? We do what we did before. We look it right in the face and we show him who is the better individual.
And after he beat cancer, was he a different fighter? Like, when you saw him in the gym and he went on this run and he got the titles, besides being older, was there like something that's a new bit of Danny that I'd never seen?
Oh yeah, he was far more serious about everything he did. He took everything verbatim. It was no more granted. Nothing was taken for granted anymore. Danny came in with a new zest for performing and enjoying the moments, and it's been wonderful.
Okay, and I know that you have ties to amateurs. 3 amateur boxers or newly turned pros that are going to be amazing in the pro game coming up soon.
Shakur Stevens, a young man that we call Africa from Brooklyn, New York.
Tell me about him. I've never heard of this guy.
Africa, he trains out of the Cops and Kids program, the Atlas Cops and Kids program. And this young man has a zest for boxing like no kid that I've seen. He always wants to spar somebody. He comes in and he says the first thing is, "Can I spar? Can I spar?" And after he spars, the next thing is, "Can you pad me? Can I get some work?" Always looking for more and more and more, and you don't really find that. He's going to be making his pro debut on March 4th at the Barclays Center, and I'm looking for him to really make some amazing strides. He's trained by Ariel Sosa and Lenny Wilson, and they've been doing a great job with him. I think you're going to see some wonderful things out of him.
Okay. By the way, you brought up that fight. Who do you got? Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman? I'm sure everyone asks you that, but just from a trainer's point of view, you don't even have to pick a winner. Just stylistically, how do you see that fight playing out? Because I have trouble envisioning how the first 1 minute of the fight goes.
Well, what this says on my collar should explain it all. Danny Swift Garcia is a havoc man. I love him to death. I've known him for some time, and he has supported my effort with Havoc boxing gear from the very beginning, and I try to make sure I bring his expressions to life, and he has never failed, and I don't think he's going to fail on March 4th.